We will be live for the Cowboys versus Giants Sunday night football matchup. We'll be live an hour before kickoff, so 7:20 p.m. Eastern Time, 6:20 p.m. Central Time if you live in the Texas area. Make sure you guys are subscribed so you don't miss our awesome watch party. It's going to be a blast this year, I promise you. All right, to the injury report we go. Thursdays is in, and there's been some developments. First up, we'll go more on this in a moment. Tyron Smith did not practice again. We'll see about Sunday. Sam Williams, the good news here, upgraded to limited. He is battling turf toe, got a limited rep on Thursday. I feel much better about him playing on Sunday. Donovan Wilson did not practice with his calf issue, but he also wasn't there. Dono was out to be present for the birth of his son or his child. So good news on Dono. We'll know more Friday. And the concerning development, Tyron Smith, who was fine on Wednesday, popped up on the injury report on Thursday with a limited designation. Now, what it appears happened is that Tyron Smith rolled the ankle. The initial word from the Cowboys is this is a minor injury, and he should still be good to play in Week 1. And I do want to believe that. I also know that Tyron Smith is kind of made of glass these days. And the last time Tyron Smith got hurt in a practice, the Cowboys were like, he's okay, the knee's fine, didn't tear the ACL, whatever. A few hours later, the hamstring came off the bone. So I will have some hesitation and some anxiety until we get to Friday and it says Tyron Smith full or even just Tyron Smith limited and Mike says he's fine and we can all actually exhale because it's the Cowboys. Sometimes the initial word isn't always the most accurate one, which is that's how injuries tend to work. Now back to Tyler Smith here because both Ty Smiths are banged up because of course it is. The Cowboys are going to try to get him to play. They are not going to jeopardize the longer season for one game, but he does need to show he can practice. Maybe not on Friday, but even on Saturday, their walkthrough practice day. McCarthy said this at his press conference earlier today. He says he feels really good. He's very optimistic. If he practices Saturday, we'll give him a chance to go. But he has to practice. So we'll give him every opportunity to do that. Some more thoughts on this still to come, but prediction time. Do you think Tyron Smith and Tyler Smith will play in Week 1 against the Giants? Y for yes, N for no. It'll be today's pinned comment, so if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. If one of your Smiths can't go, it's some combination of Chuma Adoga, who we haven't really seen because he was hurt through the preseason, Awesome Richards, TJ Bass, both of whom played pretty well in the preseason, but Matt Lutz goes on IR. Your potential cue here, beyond like the Saturday injury report, is that practice squad elevations must be known by that time frame. So if you see Brock Hoffman or maybe just Earl Bostic or whatever, you're going to get to 8 offensive linemen somehow. If you see 1 or 2 linemen called up to the game day roster, which I don't think was their plan initially this week, maybe that means there's some concern about one of your Smiths playing. So that'll be a key indication what the practice squad call-ups look like, which I think are going to be announced on Saturday. And hopefully that these guys can play. And to a certain extent, it's kind of like, hey, Cowboys, how long have you been saying, are there any good offensive linemen out there? How long have we been talking about, hey, you should probably find some more O-linemen? Well, now they're banged up again. You know, we knew Tyron was going to get hurt at some point. We didn't think Tyler would get hurt. Hopefully they're okay, and we get to Sunday night, and it's like, it's fine. They're healthy. No concerns. It was all much ado over nothing from that perspective. But I am anxious about your offensive line injuries because nothing can sink an offense faster beyond, the obvious quarterback injury than offensive line issues. That impacts every snap that you have. At least with the running game, it isn't necessarily directly impacted by the quarterback, although the level of quarterback impacts the defense's fear of the run game, how much you put in the box, etc. But if the O-line's bad, it's tough. Having a bad offensive lineman out there can really sink an offense. So hopefully they're all okay. Also probably worth monitoring how the lines adjust for this Cowboys-Giants game. If it suddenly drops from the current spread to more closer to the Giants being favored or closer to a pick'em, Probably means Vegas is worried about the offensive line. You can follow the odds and bet on them at chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code Cowboys125 for a 125% deposit bonus. That's $100 down minimum to get that deposit bonus. You can bet on the games. You can still take some division odds before the games get going. Eagles -130, the betting favorites again this year. The Cowboys +175. The Giants +800. They're, of course, playing the Cowboys week 1. And the Commanders way down there at +1,200. Chatsports.com/bet, promo code Cowboys125 for a 125% deposit bonus when you put down at least $100. A positive news item here. You knew I was going to talk about it, right? Deuce Vaughn winning the MVP. That's the Nickelodeon valuable player, most valuable player for the preseason. Got slimed at practice the other day. Kind of a fun little development for the Cowboys' young rookie running back. Look, Vaughn was productive in only 2 games this year in the preseason. Clearly showed he belongs in the NFL. At one point had I think it was 12 carries or 11 carries for closer to 70 yards. Then, the offensive line wasn't very good in some of the fourth quarter preseason there. So that's kind of interesting from that perspective. I am optimistic that Deuce Vaughn's going to have a somewhat sizable role. Not quite as much of a role as I tend to joke about on Twitter, where I continue to shitpost there. But I do think he's going to have a big game or a big season relative to expectations for a 6th-round draft pick. He's your RB3 right now. And I think if the Cowboys are smart, they will find a way to get him the ball even just 5-ish times a game. Tony Pollard's not going to take every snap. Rico Dowdle's not going to get every backup snap. Deuce Vaughn might not be the greatest in pass protection, although he is willing in that area. But the Cowboys haven't been able to run a screen in years. Maybe Deuce Vaughn and Mike McCarthy can find a way to make that work. So are you on board the Deuce Vaughn hype train? 1 for yes, 0 for no. Head down to the comments section and let me know right now. I better see only ones in the comments right now. One more note on your kicker. Brandon Aubrey, one of the other sources of much hand-wringing for this Cowboys team this preseason training camp. Mike McCarthy once again backed his kicker entering week 1. Saying, quote, at his press conference today, the opinion of the kicker is, obviously, I don't think we see the same, talking to the reporters. I have confidence in him. I don't worry about his ability. He's passed that test. He's high in that area. He just needs opportunities. I've been very impressed with Brandon. The talent is there. He reminds me of a young Mason Crosby. I hope he has the same start, too. I feel good about him because he's an arsenal of kicks, which is important. Now, Aubrey did settle in after leaving Oxnard where the wins weren't as chaotic as they can be. After Tristan Vizcaíno was cut, missed 1 long field goal, made another one, showed he has the leg strength for it, was pretty solid on extra points in both preseason games and in training camp practices. But those also weren't real games. Those are not real opportunities in the same way, I think that's what Mike's alluding to there, of, hey, go win the game. You're on the road. You're at MetLife Stadium. It's a tie game. You're down by 1. It's a 40-yard try with 5 seconds left. The offense got you into field goal range. Do you deliver? Do you make that kick? It's the playoffs. It's an extra point. Do you make it? Do you miss 5 in a row? That is what is going to determine the long-term impact of Brandon Aubrey. The Cowboys are giving him a shot. He is their guy right now. They have not overcommitted to him. If Aubrey's bad, if he struggles, they can move on. They can go sign, insert whatever kicker you want to find a way to acquire. So the Cowboys aren't committed fully to Brandon Aubrey, but he is their guy right now. And make no mistake, the ideal outcome is that he is the guy. And the Cowboys, like they got with Brett Maher up until the first preseason game, actually get really steady and solid results out of their kicker. If they don't, move on. Hopefully, we're not talking about searching for kickers again in late September, October, November, whenever.